computer. All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today for our quarterly meeting for June 10th, 2020. We do appreciate you joining us. From the statistics here on the participant list, we do have record numbers who have attended today, so we do appreciate you coming in and learning more about what's going on with the general organization. We always like to, highlight partnerships, and since unfortunately we were unable to have our end of year celebration, we wanted to incorporate some of those items into today's quarterly meeting. And one of those items is that of partnerships. And with our partnerships with our school districts, our non-public schools, the entities such as Consortium for Public Education, the United Way, the list goes, AFLAC, our foundation. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And it's not without those partnerships that we as an organization wouldn't be successful. Truly, it is a blessing to have so many people who have invested in the work of the intermediate unit, and it truly does take partnerships. And not only am I talking about external partnerships, but over the last year, what I've witnessed within the organization is a growing number of internal partnerships that continue to blossom. From where we were 5 years ago and comparing it to today, the partnership between student services and curriculum services really be working together on many different projects for students who are served by the intermediate unit, as well as for students served outside of the intermediate unit is just one example of so many internal partnerships that are going on. So we're stronger together than we are individually, and truly as an organization, we're definitely living that. One of those partnerships I would really like to highlight that we would have highlighted during our all celebration day in March is that of with Variety Charity and the Children's Charity. And we as an organization have raised money 2 years in a row for students to have adaptive bikes, adaptive strollers, and also voice communication devices. And we've utilized our dress down days to raise money. And this year, I'm very happy to share, we yet again have record numbers. And so our goals always have been, let's raise enough money to buy a bike, a stroller, and a voice device. And, through our casual dress program of seven identified dates, and I have a date wrong there. This was 1920, not 1819. And to participate, it was $35 for the program participation. On March 14th, we did declare that every day was a dress down day from here on out, and pants were optional. And so hopefully everyone enjoyed that opportunity to dress down since March 14th. But in all seriousness, I'm very proud to share that we had 110 participants donate at least $35 to participate. That raised $3,850 that's going to be donated to the Variety Charity. So thank you on behalf of the board, the administrative team, and to the whole organization. Thank you so much for participating in that. How does that compare to last year? Well, we only had 78 people participate last year, up to 110. And the amount of money raised went from $2,730 to $3,850. So again, thank you so much for your willingness to participate. And we will be doing this again next year, and maybe we can get 150 participants. We are going to work with Variety Charity to see if there is a way that we could have a giving of a bike, a voice device, as well as a stroller over the summertime in July or August to kind of celebrate this year's achievements with raising money. So I've reached out to Variety to see if we can maybe schedule something that we could do in the parking lot of the immediate unit. Of course, conditions, pending with that. Okay, so again, thanks to Variety Charity and Mr. LaValle and connecting up with us. Another great partner to the organization is that of the foundation. And again, over the last 6 years, we have seen such growth in the foundation's continued activities, its reach across the county. And we do have a very special guest today, that being Luann Murtha, who is the president of the foundation. And Luann had a few words that she wanted to share about the foundation. And Luann, just let me know when you need me to advance the slides.
Okay, first I just want to say hi to everybody. Hope everybody's safe and healthy through all this and what's going on, and can't wait till we can all get back and start doing things together again and what that all looks like for our students with special needs. The successes of the foundation from last year when we met, we started the fall grants that we were going to try to do, start doing them fall and spring, and obviously with all this that happened in the spring, we weren't able to, but from last fall, we were able to give away a little over $8,000 to 11 different participants who applied for grants for the fall. Those grants did cover everywhere throughout Westmoreland County, so students are benefiting from us being able to do this. Another thing that was very successful is we got a lot of thank yous, compliments, praises on giving away last year the money to the classroom teachers and the classroom assistants. That was welcomed graciously by almost everybody. We did have a few people who returned checks, but other than that, it was graciously welcomed. It is something we want to continue to do, but without our fundraising efforts being able to happen this year, we have to relook at that in the fall and see what that looks like as the board moves forward with what we're going to be able to do. Another great success that we were hoping to move forward with in the fall was we had the Vegas night, where we had an entertainer from Vegas actually come and perform at Rizzo's. Those of you that were there, we've had tons of compliments and asking when that's going to happen again. Again, unfortunately, with everything going on, we're not able to plan that and what it would look like, but know that things like that are in the works again. And the more participation and things we get through our fundraisers, the more things we can do for students and teachers throughout the county. Our countywide events have also been very welcomed through the dances and the open gym night that we had. So those were the successes that we have. At this point, there are no definite dates for anything for future events, other than we are looking into fundraisers. If anybody has any kind of things we can do that don't involve everybody getting together at a place, please let us know that. Please reach out, share to any of the board members, to myself, send an email. We're looking for anything we can do in the interim of all this going on, of what we can do to continue to raise that money so that we can keep things happening for students and teachers in the county and what that would look like. So please, if you have any ideas with that, share it with us and we can take it to the board and see what that would look like. And lastly, getting involved. Again, anything we do, if you could participate in it, that is awesome, so that that can happen and we can have more things and go further through the county with that. Anybody can get involved through payroll deductions. You can have donations made directly to the foundation from the payroll. If you just fill out those forms, you can get that through payroll. And we are looking to start a new little form group throughout within the foundation that we're looking for an activities, promotions, fundraisers kind of group that you don't have to be a board member, but to come on board with us for ideas and things that we can do to enhance the opportunities and those things that we're giving to students and teachers, and helping us find ways to make those happen, or things throughout the county that we can branch out and share more. So that's what I have to share. So thanks, everybody.
Well, thank you very much, Luann, and we appreciate the endless hours that you spend, and as well as the other foundation board members spend on getting events organized. There's so much work that goes on behind all of those events. So we appreciate everything that you and the foundation does. So thank you again for being such a great partner. And you speak of the payroll deduction as a way of contributing to the foundation, and very happy to now do the raffle for that. So at the beginning of the year, I always announce that we will raffle off a personal day to those who donate at least $7 a paycheck towards the foundation. And so for every increment of 7, since we are the 7th intermediate unit within the state, you then get a raffle ticket. We only had 10 participants this year. However, those 10 participants gave more money than they did the previous year. And so I'm very happy to share that those 10 participants themselves raised $2,424 that will go towards the foundation. So again, for those who are the 10 participants, you know who you are, and thank you so much for doing that. One person that I won't name because I want to respect their privacy donates $35 every paycheck. And so therefore that individual gets 7 tickets in the hat. And so I'm now going to pick from the hat. There you go, Dr. Thomas, which this hat then has all of the names and everyone who had at least $7, every increment of 7 then is a ticket in here. So there's one person that has 5 tickets in here. And so I'm just showing you that this is not rigged, okay? Because we at Penn State don't cheat, okay? All right, and so Luann, what I'd like to do is count down to 3, and when you get down to 0, I'm going to stop and grab whatever's in my hand. Go ahead, Luann.
3, 2, 1, 0.
All right, the winner of the personal day, and can be a casual day for them, ironically, is Luann Murtha. So congratulations, Luann. You are the winner of a personal day that you may use. And so we'll communicate that out to the financial services, and that's going to go into your bank for you to be able to use. So congratulations, Luann. How ironic is that? Huh. And yeah, so you virtually picked your name. So congratulations. Okay. So at the beginning of next year, we do hope that you would consider, donating to the foundation via a payroll deduction. It's so easy. It just does it for you. And it does go to a great cause there. Okay. So moving along, we have another celebration, and that is around our wellness committee. And so Cindy Camion, our HR administrator, leads a committee entitled Wellness. And again, this year they had another successful wellness challenge, and can't thank the committee enough for all of the information that we received throughout the year. Truly, we have invested in the health and safety, of all of our employees, and we really thank the Wellness Committee, for leading that for us. So I know Cindy had a few things that she wanted to share. So Cindy, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you, Dr. Conway. Hi, everybody. So nice to see you. I do want to recognize before we go on the rest of the Wellness Committee. It's myself, of course, Suzanne Maselli, Charlene Welshons, Jenny Moore, and Dave Regula. We are the 2019-20 Wellness Committee. We did a survey this year, and we did receive some interest from some of you who would like to be on the committee. So we will look forward to reaching out to you between now and the next school year so that we can get you engaged and expand the committee, because the offerings are expanding. And so I'm happy to report that as we have increased offerings, we have also increased participation. In fact, this year we had 95 employees participate in one or more wellness activities. Many of you did multiple activities, and everything. We ranged from biometric health screenings to on-site yoga classes. We had at the administration building and at Clairview School, and we were planning to expand the chair massages to some other school settings. However, with the closure of the on-site work, we weren't able to follow that through, but we are looking to expand that for next year because chair massages have been quite popular. So we're pleased that we're getting a good response there. So lots of different activities. We had an online trivia quiz that we rolled out, as well as flu shots. There was the survey that I mentioned where folks gave us some great feedback about the offerings that we have. And of course, the annual challenge, which is always a big hit. And so this year we had 9 teams, 51 employees participated. So each year, this is the 3rd year, and it's grown each year. And this year was the highest participation yet. I'm sending out the newsletter that the committee put together, and that'll be out this week. So the winners will be announced in that newsletter. But I want to thank everybody who's participated in all of the activities this year on behalf of the Wellness Committee. It does take some time to put this stuff together. We've been very fortunate. We've had some great vendors, the yoga instructor, the chair massages, the therapist who's come and done the chair massages have been very gracious in working with us, and we really hope that you all appreciate their efforts and their generosity as well. So, as I mentioned, 95 employees took part in one or more offerings this year. Today, what I'd like to do is select a name from those 95, and this is a Pitt basket, even though it doesn't say Pitt on it, Dr. Conway. Go Pitt.
So Pitt is very invested in the basket weaving courses, I see.
Yes, yes. So, all right. So in here are 95 names. And so I am about to draw one of these names, and this person will win a Versa Fitbit smartwatch. So it is the special edition smartwatch. And if we were doing this in person, I would ask Charlene Welshons to pull this name because she's last year's recipient of that. And I know she loves her Fitbit smartwatch. So if you get this and you're not sure what to do with it, ask Charlene. She's very well experienced with her Fitbit. So without further ado, I will draw the name, and I'm here by myself except for my cat. So you're gonna have to trust me on this.
Let the cat pick it.
I would let the cat pick it. We'd be waiting a long time for the results. Here is the winner. Can you guys see that?
All right.
Peggy Bryan, last name first. Peggy Bryan is the winner. I believe Peggy is one of our E-Academy teachers.
Awesome.
So congratulations to Peggy. We will be sending Peggy that Fitbit Versa watch, and that'll be coming out as soon as possible. The rest of the incentives, the rewards that we have for those who participated will be mailed out. Since we're in this virtual environment, I'm not going to be shipping them out from my home to you, but you will be receiving them when we return to the office in short time. So we have some really nice incentives this year. We got some great little stress busters with the wellness logo on them, and the winners of the 30-day challenge, which this year was actually a 31-day challenge, will be receiving yoga mats with carrying cases that have the IU Wellness Committee logo or Wellness Program logo on the case. So we got some great prizes. I'm looking forward to getting them out to you all. We hope you enjoyed this year's incentives, and we look forward to offering you the same and more next year. So have a great summer, and if you are interested in being on the committee, even if you missed the survey, please let us know. Send me an email and we'll get you signed up.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Cindy. And congratulations, Peggy. It's Peggy Bryan, not Brian Peggy, right? Peggy
That's
Bryan.
That's correct. Peggy Bryan, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks again for leading that, and thanks for everyone for their commitment to health and safety for that. All right. So moving along, what we'll do now is I'll just have a few items here about the Executive Services Division update. We're going to then celebrate our retirements as well as our PIN, our year PIN recognitions at 5, 10, and so on and so forth. And then we're going to get into each of the divisions, giving brief updates on what's going on. So first, I want to thank everyone in the organization for their resilience through the COVID crisis. The fact that we were able to turn our operations into a virtual operation in a matter of days is simply incredible. And the level of collaboration and cooperation and willingness to be flexible truly just says a lot about every single person that works for the intermediate unit. And our ability to be so flexible definitely has been recognized by our districts, by our non-pubs, and all the other entities that we serve. We are constantly there for them as they need assistance, as they begin to kind of figure out, let alone we have our own programs to figure out, and we're doing a wonderful job of that as well. So again, thank you for your resilience and your continued innovative spirit as we continue down through this. One thing that we have to start thinking about is how do we reopen, post July 1? And really it's divided into two sections. And one section is the administrative building, and then the other section is our programs, our school age programs, as well as our early intervention programs. In terms of the administrative building, we're having what we're calling a soft opening on June 29th, as I detailed in the email to the whole organization, where we're going to be working with employees that are registered at the administrative building as their workstations, and working through with them on what type of arrangements that they may need, with teleworking and coming into the office and so on. The goal would be is if everything continues down an improvement path with conditions, that we would be fully operational, fully open to the public, hosting workshops and so on, of course, following CDC guidelines, beginning the week of August 3rd would be the goal. Up until that time, at this point, we will be closed to the public. There will no drop-ins. Everything is going to be by appointment, because we really want to see what's going to happen over the next 2 to 3 weeks as society begins to open up. So do the potential of surges and relapses. So we want to make sure that we're fully prepared and that we kind of ease back into things. So that's the admin building. And so if you need any services from the administrative building, do not hesitate to reach out to folks and just kind of talk about what your needs are. And then if you would have to come in to the admin building, I ask that you make an appointment and no drop-ins per se. The other part is the reopening of our programs. So the PDE has provided guidance on what that looks like, and we anticipate further guidance here in the next a few weeks. And Student Services is going to be working very hard over the next few weeks on what does reopening school look like for post-July 1 and going into August. So as Dr. Thomas may talk about, our extended school year is going to stay virtual for the most part. Our early intervention, again, providing virtual wherever necessary unless the guidance permits otherwise. So by mid-August, we will then position ourselves to operate within whatever guidelines that we are under, red, green, or yellow at that particular time. The plan then is to really start digging deep into the planning throughout the next few weeks, as I mentioned, and then having our board then approve that health and safety plan during a special meeting that's going to be called on Tuesday, July 28th, is the plan for that health and safety plan. So just wanted to kind of share, that with everyone. We do appreciate everyone that has already completed the face covering survey, where you get to select 3 of the options from a mask or neck gaiters, either an IU neck gaiter or a Clairview neck gaiter. Believe it or not, out of 180 responses, I only had one person that ordered 6 items instead of just 3. So we're doing pretty well with following the directions and only selecting 3. We just wanted to make sure that we got ahead of it and ordered those things as supply lines become tighter and tighter when it comes to that. All right, so let me just pause and see if there's anything in the chat room in terms of any questions around that. Good, I see some collegiate bantering going back and forth in the chat room. Thanks, Sue Soltis, for having my back. All right, so the last part of my executive services update is I wanted to recognize retirees. And so unfortunately, we weren't able to come together in March and truly celebrate those who are retiring. Retirees will be getting a special plaque that's going to light up for you like others have over the last 2 years. But I do want to take some time to recognize our following retirements. Rosemary Naccarato with 16 years of PSER service. Brenda Evangeliste, 16 years of service with the state. Anna Marie Hunter, who retired after last year's in service day together. So we wanted to recognize Anna Marie at 17 years, Elizabeth Newman of 17 PSERS years, Betsy Fanala with 17 years, popular year, Dianne Archer with 20 years of service. Thank you for your service. Valerie Miller at 24 years of PSERS service. Maria Catone with 25 years of service. Maria, as all the retirees, had an opportunity typically to come up and say a few words to the organization, because retirement is a very big step, and we want to thank people, give them that opportunity if they want to say special thanks to someone. And all the retirees this year had the option of recording a message that would be showed during this time. And Maria was one that took me up on that offer. So let me share with you just a few moments of what Maria wanted to share with the organization. So give me 1 second to bring her comments up. Okay. All right. So, and just if you could do me a favor, like give me a virtual thumbs up when I start it that you can hear her. All right. So here's Maria Catone with 25 years of PSERS experience.
Hi, everyone. I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to teach through eAcademy for the past 6 years. When I started with the Academy, it was a new and exciting adventure, and it became a very rewarding experience to me to work with so many new student-aided teachers and counselors throughout the county. I would also like to thank the eAcademy administrators, the help desk, and entire staff for always being available to offer their support, guidance, and assistance. I am proud to have been an instructor for eAcademy, and I know that we are providing a valuable education for all students enrolled in the program. It's bittersweet for me. I'm so excited to retire. However, I know I'm really going to miss teaching. Thank you.
All right. So again, thanks, Maria, for being part of the intermediate unit and the eAcademy program. So again, thanks for your service. Also have another retiree, and that is Mary Sobolik, who has 35 years of PSERS experience. And Mary, instead of doing a video, wanted me to share a letter that she wrote. And so allow me the opportunity to share that letter with you. And so she says, I want to just like a few minutes of your time to say thank you to some people. I want to thank the IU for making it possible for me to work for 35 plus years in the field I have truly enjoyed. We have evolved through the years together. Some growing pains weren't easy, but we're all worked together when our cheese kept moving. I want to take this opportunity to thank my former supervisors, and forgive me, I don't know how to say her last name, Pat J. and Mary Jane Betts. They helped me significantly in my early career. Both were very knowledgeable, kind, and supportive. I wish to thank Dom Demagon for all of his patience and positive outlook regardless of the situation. He made me feel appreciated and valued as a teacher and person. Having him as a supervisor allowed me to voice my concerns and questions, knowing he would make every effort to assist me. I would like to acknowledge the remaining IU staff at Bell Vernon. They have always shown true professionalism and have been a constant asset to the district. I know the IU is grateful that these remaining teachers have represented themselves and the IU so well. The district is blessed to have them. I am grateful that they were my coworkers and constant sources of support. American journalist Christopher Morley said, quote, "There's only one success, to be able to spend life in your own way." Really, that's what being a teacher allows. Taking the fundamentals of education and its philosophies and putting a personal stamp on them. Your own unique spin of relating information and insight to your students. All the above mentioned groups helped me achieve that success in my career by supporting me as an individual. I hope to achieve that same success personally as I transition into the next stage of my life, a life I will continue to spend in my own way. Thank you, Mary Beth Sobolik. So very well said, Mrs. Sobolik, thank you so much for your service and the very, very thoughtful letter that you wrote. So that concludes our recognition of retirees. And so again, collectively on behalf of the board, as well as the administrative team, thanks to each and every one of you for the service that you provided the intermediate unit. The other part of recognition I'd like to share with you are the employee years of service recognitions. And so a tradition that we started a few years ago where people would earn pins for every 5 years that they had with the intermediate unit. So allow me to share with you, again, as you earn pins, we then place them in our lanyards. And this picture was taken before we had anyone hit 35 years. And so I don't have a picture of a 35-year pin, but somebody is getting a 35-year pin today. And you're going to hear who that person is here in just a few moments. Our 5-year recognition, as you can see from the list, Sandy Bish, William Clausen, Maria Catone, Sandy Furlow, Kathleen Hanlon, Lindsay Katora Pitnick, Jennifer Lang, Nicole Marino, Matthew Nicely, Justine Phillips, Ann Valesky, Deneen Watson, and Brad Zundel. So if we were here all together, we would be pinning you with a 5-year pin. All pin recipients will receive their pins in the mail in the next few weeks. Our 10 years of service includes Ryan Bruner, Jennifer Basio, Elizabeth Kulayton, Melissa Grobmeyer, John Lohr, Tammy Prinke, and Russell Williams. So again, thank you for your service of 10 years with the intermediate unit. Our 15 years of service, folks, include Jamie Gregorich, Judy Hagerman, Renee Kozalek, and Sharon Stapleton. So again, thank you for your 15 years of service. Our 20-year pins go to Rachel Barner, Kathy Dahl, Nicole Irvin, Stacy Kennedy, David Novello, and Bonnie Tassone. So thank you for your 20 years of service with the intermediate unit. Our 25 years of service, we have 3, Dawn Greenawalt, Kelly Miller, and Thomas Perry. Again, thank you for your 25 years of service to the intermediate unit. And we go then to the 30 years of service, which we didn't have any. And so we didn't hit that 35, and no one with 30 years is recognized this year. And we do have one person who has achieved that 35-year year of service, and it's my pleasure to share appreciation to Mariana Mormack, who will be receiving a 35-year pin service. So Mariana, thanks for your dedication to the intermediate unit and your continued service. I think we ran out of colors. If we make it to 40, we're going to have to come up with something, Cindy, in terms of what the 40-year pin looks like. But again, thanks for everyone and their service. Again, I wish we would be all together for me to be able to give to you your pin and shake your hand or fist bump or elbow bump or whatever we're going to be allowed to do in the future. I do look forward to that opportunity to seeing everyone in person and thanking you personally. That now concludes the Executive Services Division. We're now going to move to our Financial Services update, and that would be Mrs. Lynn Liu. So without further ado, Lynn, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Conway. I want to formally welcome advise you that we welcomed Kate DeRitza to our staff earlier this year. Kate filled the vacant payroll secretary position that we had, and she had been a job coach with the IU for, I believe, a little over 6 years before joining us full-time in the payroll secretary position. So I want to formally welcome Kate. She's been working with us for months, and she's done a great job. So she's a great addition to our team. We did do a financial services RFP recently, and the board approved us to switch our banks. Those of you who are still receiving physical checks have already been notified. We will no longer have anything other than direct deposit for payroll. We are switching banks for a number of reasons, one of which was customer service, but also because of fees and efficiencies. So we are happy to announce that First National Bank won the award. We'll be switching to them hopefully by the end of June. And that is already in process. So we expect a smooth transition, but we'll be switching all of our accounts over to them. So that's in process. Also, open enrollment for benefits is closing the end of this coming week on June 12th. So if you haven't submitted your benefit election forms, you need to do so and get those into Suzanne Maselli. We did complete all of our insurance renewals for the organization for 2020-21. That is on the board agenda for approval for June. And we didn't see any increase in our overall policy premiums, which was nice. We do have a majority of budgets that were approved at the May board meeting. We only have a few that are going to be on June's board meeting. So that will end all of our budgeting season. I know my staff is very busy getting prepared for the start of our new fiscal year to begin July 1st, but they're also working on rollovers and trying to wrap up our current fiscal year that will end June 30. So we're kind of in a state of flux. We end up this way a lot at this year. We're working in too many different years, I think. We budget for 2021, we're wrapping up, or budgeting for 2021, we budget, get things ready, and we're trying to finish the 1920 year. So if you have any questions, if you need anything from us, please let us know. And I want to thank my staff, as usual. They do a great job.
All right, well, thank you very much, Lynn. We appreciate the update. We're now going to move to Technology and Infrastructure Services Division update. So without further ado, Eric Vaughn, you have the floor.
Great. Well, thank you, and welcome everyone. First, we have since the last end of year celebration, we added David Regula, who took over from Michael Hunter. David came to us from St. Vincent, and he has been working primarily in the E-Academy realm, supporting Moodle and those things, but David has also been doing some trainings around Microsoft Teams, which we rolled out. So just wanted to thank David for coming on board and all his support. During the time off, we were able to install the security cameras at the administration building. So all the exterior cameras have been installed. The next step will be working on the interior cameras, primarily at the entryways to the building and any of the hallways. So that will be the next phase of security cameras at administration. During the remote escapade where we were all forced to jump into remote learning and some of the remote work, we accelerated our deployment of Microsoft Teams. So that rollout allowed staff to have immediate communication with one another. It also allowed us to maintain and manage phone calls into the building and out of the building. So we were able to remain in communication. More trainings on the Teams platform will be forthcoming as well. One of the projects that we're working on over the summer will be a OneDrive migration. We'll be looking to migrate users' data files that are on like your G and your H drives. We'll be looking to move those to the cloud on OneDrive. We've been doing some migration testing on a few staff members, so we have the process ironed out, and we'll be working on getting that so that there is access to files from wherever you are and on any device. Finally, the custodial staff have been working very hard at Clairview with the extra time that they've had. They are in the process of doing quite a bit of painting, and we were able to replace ceiling tiles in the gymnasium, plus several other projects that are happening over there. So that when we do get back into the building, it should be a refreshing new look. So that is all I have. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Eric. And one thing I want to, oops, oh no, my computer just went haywire here. So one thing, Eric, that I want to thank you for is it's due to your division that we were able to move into working virtually so very quickly, so very easy. And without you and your division, that never would have happened. And for us to have very little hiccups in terms of our operations really is kudos to you and your team. So thank you for everything that you've done to make that happen. I think I can speak on behalf of everyone in the organization that having the supplies that we needed technology-wise and the access has been truly amazing. And we know that districts and other organizations didn't have as smooth a time as we did. So thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we're now going to move to the next update. That's going to be Mr. Tim Hamill from Curriculum Services. So Tim, it is now your turn to share your update.
All right. Well, thank you. That was a great segue into the update on Curriculum Services because for us, it was all about making the move to online. And right from the start of this this crisis, we had to mobilize a lot of resources and work in a very unique way. And that didn't just mean that we were all working in Zoom all of a sudden. We had to support our school districts through that process. And the very first few days of everything happening, we were called to duty by PAIU to work as a team and develop continuity of education resources for the state. And very excited that the entire Curriculum Services team, as well as I know student services as well, worked collaboratively on that with others across the state, producing in less than a week a 70-page document that could be used as guidance for those who were making a move online. And it was an incredible effort by a lot of people, and I'm proud of the work that that my team did on that project. The work continued after that into many different things, many different projects to support the process. One thing that we had to initiate immediately was a better communication system with all of our curriculum folks across the county. And so that meant conducting weekly meetings with them, networking with them. We also did the same thing with our principals in our elementary and secondary. So making that network of connections was something that really kept us all on the same page. And I know Dr. Conway and Dr. Thomas did the same thing with their groups, allowing us to have a continuity of message going on amongst all of our districts throughout this whole situation. Some of the other things that we've been doing, some exciting things that have happened during all of this. Joe DiLucente was working on a project with PDE to collaborate with PBS. Our local affiliate, WQED, was involved in this project. And Joe, along with Susan McKeever, one of our ESL teachers, produced a segment for PBS. And it actually started airing just this week. So if you're tuned into PBS, you're bound to see them. It's a minute-long spot where they're just doing a quick little snippet for kids. And it's fantastic. And hopefully you get a chance to see it. I know we just pushed the link out for it here recently. So maybe Dr. Conway, you could share that out after this meeting if you have an opportunity. Again, fantastic project, and Joe put a lot of time in planning that. Becky Henderson has been working on the online side overtime, trying to keep things running. And in addition to E-Academy, we're now moving resources to help everybody work in that online environment. Some of you may know Becky works in support of the statewide Open Education Resources Project. And during this time, Becky had an opportunity to present not just nationally, but internationally in a virtual setting. on OER and what Pennsylvania is doing with OER Commons. Really exciting that she was there to represent not only RIU, but our state in a process that many people are interested in learning about, especially now, because these resources are more in demand than they have ever been as people try to plan new curriculum and new concepts for working in this new learning environment. In addition to that, Sue, who helps with all of the back end writing of instructions for teachers and all of that, Sue jumped in on the social emotional side of things with Step Up Westmoreland to organize the Stomp the Stigma Walk. And it's a little hard to do a walk when we're in the situation we've been in, but rather than cancel it, they got creative and designed a virtual walk, which I think is going to be very exciting. And I know Sue has put the invites out across to pretty much everybody, I think, at this point. If you haven't had a chance to register for that, take an hour out of your day and participate in a very worthwhile moment. I highly encourage you to take advantage of that. And Sue, thank you for all that work that you've been putting into making that happen. And to all the folks who are part of the Step Up project, thank you. Another exciting project, Jason Boone, during this time, one of the things we realized is that it became more and more difficult to keep students engaged online. Not every child is ready to learn online. So it was a challenge for sure. Jason came up with the idea, working with a company called First in Math, to do a Math 24 tournament. To make a long story short, what this entailed was putting students into teams all across the county to work together to solve math problems in a competitive way. And all told, nearly 700 students countywide participated in grades K through 8. These students solved nearly 1.5 million problems over a period of about 2 months, or a little less than 2 months, actually. And it was just so exciting to see how engaging the project became to keep students motivated to learn. So many thanks to Jason on that. One last thing I wanted to mention, and this involved the entire team, is that we've been working on developing new professional development. Given the demands of right now, some new things that teachers need to know and understand and do, we have designed a micro PD series that's very focused and right now pinpoint focused on online learning and supporting and engaging students in this new environment. So the team's been hard at work at that. They've already produced many episodes. And I have to put a shout out to not just our curriculum supervisors and distance learning supervisor, but our support staff also jumped in on this, with Rachel and Jenny also producing their own micro PD session, which was just tremendous. So it was a 100% team involvement. Lastly, I want to mention an event that happened last week. We had a teen town hall meeting that allowed us to bring together some secondary students, middle school and high school, together with some of our elected officials to allow them to speak to our elected officials about what they have experienced during this time. And it was a very eye-opening, interesting learning experience for all of us to hear them talk about what they've been through, what they've learned themselves, and also what they're concerned about moving forward. It was a very successful event. Many thanks to Dr. Conway for making the connection to our elected officials and to our school districts who allowed their students to come in and be a part of that. So lastly, thanks to my team for everything you've done to keep things rolling during this very, very crazy few months. So thank you very much.
All right, well done, and thank you very much, Tim, and thanks for your hard work, on everything, supporting our district, supporting internal programs, and that the Teen Town Hall was truly an awesome event, and you did a great job moderating and working with the students prior to that event. Like, they were very well prepared, weren't coached what to say. They were prepared with their own thoughts, and I know many elected officials commented afterwards to me how impressed they were. And so I think we may have a winning formula to do something again in the future on maybe other pertinent topics that are surrounding us. So yeah, so thank you for that. I did find the link to the QED video, but when I click it, it says it's a private video. So I don't know if we have to reopen that, but if you
Let me
get
see.
it to me.
I'll see if I can find it and drop it in the chat here.
Okay, yeah, that would be great. All right, well, thank you very much, Tim. All right, we're going to move to our last division update, and that's going to be Dr. Thomas talking through student services. So Dr. Thomas, the floor is now yours.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Yes, this is an unusual end to our school year, as today is June 10th, and typically our schools are closed. And with our unexpected closures in March and April and May, I think it's very appropriate to give a huge shout out to our entire staff for all of the chutzpah that they've put forward, and the extra work, and the rethinking of everything that we've had to re-envision. I want to make a comment. I am constantly humbled, and this is reflective back on Dr. Conway's reading of some of those remarks, of educators when they acknowledge people that they work with. In particular, when I hear the names Mary Jane Betts and Alan Young, I truly am really humbled by that, because I think it honors past leadership and how that leadership permeates years to years, and the attributes of those individuals and how they've impacted one's life. And so certainly in their memory, in honor of them, I just want to give a shout out to the staff that continue to acknowledge that level of leadership. And so all the work that Alan and Mary Jane, of course, two people I've never met, but certainly people that I have a fond respect for their work, and all the work they've done on behalf of children and families. Our staff has been incredibly busy, as Tim sort of foreshadowed this. If this was the year to have curriculum services and student services and IT in particular, this year infrastructure and technology, pretty much resolve about every single thing we do, this was the year. Certainly financial services and executive services have an impact on our operations daily, but the intimate interactions of the three other divisions, I think, have been quite impactful upon the services that we offer to our school districts. And it would be impossible for me to go down to the list of everyone to honor, but I'll try my best. The one thing I want to share, and the reason I'm going to share this on the screen, is I have shared this with our staff as a guiding light, and it has a little bit of a personal impact for me, because it's something I'm very, very interested in putting out there. And you've heard a lot of people talk about personalizing learning, and customizing learning is another buzzword. This is a graphic that has resonated with me through research that I've done outside of the IU. And if you notice at the bottom of the triangle, you'll see professional development for teachers and readily available technology for students. You might as well say staff there. It's something that we've been doing since March 13th closures. Those two items appear and support the foundation of everything else we hope to achieve as a division and as an intermediate unit as we provide that. So when you go further up the triangle, our staff now going into our health and safety planning, as well as our continuity of education that will be revised, are going to use talking points around flexible scheduling, how we're going to measure learning to mastery, how we're going to diagnose individual learner characteristics, because a predominant amount of our work is in special education, where it's goal-oriented, goal-focused, and growth-focused. There is not a right way to solve a problem. There are sometimes many different ways. And so when we look at content areas as well as ways to solve the problem, you can see that we're heading into an interdisciplinary approach and trying to create a collegial school culture, or collegial work culture is probably a better way to put that. And so I offer this up to everyone in our intermediate unit to think about, wow, if this is something that will put us on a trajectory to be highly future-proof as an organization, where we offer services no matter what comes our way, locusts, whatever's coming our way, we are able to support children in any way possible. I also want to make another comment about efficacy of learning and efficiency of product. I think our staff have seen a lot of ways that meetings can be conducted virtually, parent meetings, parent conference meetings, IEP meetings. And so we should see a lot of benefit from, even though virtual settings for instruction are certainly different settings, sometimes the business of the IU can be certainly supported with the technology that we've learned. And so with all of that said, I certainly want to give a shout out to over 200 people that support student services, from teachers and support staff to classroom assistants, personal care aides, and our supervisory team, because without the team of 10 on the supervisory team, we would be lost. And I truly believe that the leadership has stepped up to the plate, have answered questions in real time, even when we didn't have an answer, or gave insight to get to an answer, or inspired other people to move forward. One of the wins most recently that I do want to highlight is the Westmoreland Intermediate Unit was the recipient of a RK Mellon grant very recently. This was a partnership as a result of the Westmoreland Intermediate Unit working with our early childhood services program, so early intervention. The Consortium for Public Education based out of McKeesport, and also the United Way of Southwestern Pennsylvania. The grant was written by the IU proper, but our partners will be helping us in ways that we haven't necessarily fully implemented yet. This is fairly new news. Our original application was for $250,000, and graciously, the RK Mellon Foundation were able to award us with $200,000. Of 243 applications received, there was a cut down to 80. We made the first cut, and then there was a cut down to, Dr. Conway, help me out here, 39, I believe was
39 were funded.
Thank you. 39 were funded across the region. And this was based on their COVID-19 recovery funding, supporting not only education, but economic development and other sectors of living. So we're pretty pumped about this. This is a huge win. There's three basic components to our application where we hope to implement. Our target foundation of student audience and family audience is age 3 through middle school. So we hope to support early learners and their families in our early childhood services program, early intervention, as well as elementary schools across the county. It will also create parent trainings, so that if you're helping your child at home and you've not necessarily familiar with the material, or coaching and consultation that's associated with helping children while they're at home. And number 3, we will be developing a lending library of resources for devices to be used by families and students, as well as portable internet devices that would be, again, in a lending library that's out there. So we're looking forward to this. Our target is to launch at the beginning of the school year. Lots of moving parts in student services right now as we're anticipating that school year. And so this will be a blessing to supporting children the whole way down to families that have them in age 3. And so that's a huge win for our county, for our 17 school districts, and for our region. So thank you to the RK Mellon Foundation for your support. As Dr. Conway foreshadowed, and Tim mentioned also about the issues surrounding the continuity of education plans and IU documents that are helping districts, we too are going to be opening our buildings in August. And so as we prepare for that, it's going to be a team effort to support health and safety precautions and preventative measures rather than reactive measures, and also speak to instructional continuity. Anything that happens, if children are confined to a home for, say, an outbreak, the whole way to the point of where they're included in our schools, we'll be able to provide those services in real time. And one more comment on that. I am so jazzed that our staff asked great questions and has really not shied away from figuring how to educate kids. It's about kids at the end of the day. It truly is. And when I look at that effort and that heart that comes out of our staff, I am moved professionally and personally to see that. So there's a lot happening in student services. It's going to continue to happen. I could go much deeper on this, but that's sort of a surface level explanation of our course for the next 2 or 3 months as we prepare to open a school. It's an unusual summer. We typically take a little bit of a breather, except for our early childhood services program in the summer, but this summer will be unique. We're going to be gearing up consistently and effectively in pursuit of that launch date, the 3rd week in August. So again, thank you for everything that you do for the intermediate unit. Thank you for everything you do for student services. And thank you for this time.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Thomas, and appreciate that. I know the work continues until it just continues for all of us. So thanks for your comments. All right. And so Tim did put the link to the spot that's on QED, and we always try to end with a video. This year we didn't produce a video, but thanks to Joe and the team, let me share this video with you. This is the spot that you're going to see on television.
Hi, I'm Joe DeLucente.
And I'm Susan McKeever. And this is our Teachable.
Today, we're going to talk about...
Hold on, let me increase the volume here because it's very, very low. All right, let's try this again.
Hi, I'm Joe DeLucente.
And I'm Susan McKeever. And this is our Teachable Moment.
Today, we're going to talk about decoding, which is matching letter sounds to the actual letters. With the letter B, a ball.
Look at all these items we found that begin with the B sound. I found a bus. And a button. Here's a bracelet.
I walked around my house and found a bear, a book with a bumblebee on it. Also, I found a bottle.
Now it's your turn. Pick your favorite letter and see if you can find items around your house that begin with that sound.
And once you start matching letters to sounds, you'll be on your way to reading. Have fun, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah, how awesome is that? That is pretty darn cool. So, alrighty, well, that brings us to the end of our updates. I do want to share with you, oops, hold on.
COVID-19 is a really interesting time for pet owners and
Hold on, let me close out of that, hold on. All right, sorry about that. I think there's one question in the chat that I want to make sure that that I do go over. I do want to share that for some reason I'm having quite the trouble here, and I want to share with you the dates for the next. Hold on. Oh, you have to love Zoom. Let's try this again. All right. We're at the end of the program anyway. Who really actually paid attention during this whole time and actually watched this whole thing? All right, well, it's not happening. So let me stop. Let me do this. The big finale. Okay, so now the big finale. All right, so the big finale is, again, thank you for everything that that you do. We want to make sure that you enjoy your summer break, and we realize that may not be a typical summer break. You may not be able to go on the vacations and to Disney and things like that, but hopefully you still have the opportunity to spend time with your family or by yourself or whatever you want to do with your time, that you have that opportunity. It is truly my hope that we are all together again to celebrate, and our next celebration day is March 31st, 2021. So mark your calendars, and we'll be communicating that out as we go. And not sure what we're going to do because my understanding is the Ramada is going to turn into some home improvement shop or store. So maybe not next year, but we're not sure where we're going to be meeting, but we'll figure that out as we get closer. We did have one question in the chat room about when will we be getting our masks. I'm just going to say in the next few weeks, simply because of timelines, supply lines. I know it's been shared with us some quick turnaround, but you know, we don't want to jinx it and say, you know, we're going to have it by next Friday and it's not going to happen. So just be on the lookout. Either they're going to be mailed to you, or as you come in the first time, if you're assigned to the administrative building, is when you'll be getting them. But sure enough, you'll be getting them soon. All right. Are there any other questions? And feel free to unmute yourself if you have a question that you'd like any of us to answer, or you can put it into the chat.
I just wanted to share, I did have a personal or private message asked of me about the credit union withholdings from employees. Would that change with us switching to First National Bank? And that will not. The IU Credit Union deposits will still go into the IU Credit Union. It'll just come from First National Bank's account instead of PNC. So the withholdings will stay the same.
Okay, thank you, Lynn. All right, and Lynn, thank you for keeping us financially afloat during all this, because there's a lot going on. And
thankfully the state continued to fund us.
Yes, and with inserts of money coming from the federal government and from the state government, it's quite a lot to keep track of. So thanks for doing that. All right. Anything else for the good of the order? All right, everyone. Well, thank you very much for attending this record-setting quarterly meeting. We've had more participants than ever before in an actual meeting, so thank you. And we'll be sending you a pin commemorating the events of the most populated quarterly meeting. This meeting will be available on our YouTube channel for review if you would like to watch it in the near future, or 3 or 4 years from now, it'll still be there. With that, I'm now going to end the recording.